Maybe the most crazy game that's happened in quite some time involving the New England Patriots has been this Week 17 game. We all thought the Patriots were just going to go in and sleepwalk into a victory, get the number 2 seed, and then have a home playoff game that they would probably win coming off of a bye week, and be right back in the AFC Championship, just as they always seem to do. But then something crazy happened. They got Fitzmagicked, so to speak. I'm going to break down everything that happened and exactly the schemes and what went into this crazy comeback happening. I'll break down the final drive. But what I really just find so fascinating is just in a huge game like this, the Patriots not being able to show up and losing to a team that they're significantly better than. It's something that it's actually a huge deal. Them not getting a bye week, this is not a drill at this point. You can take the panic button out. This is wild. And let's jump into it, what went wrong, and we'll start things off with this play. It's going to be a cover 1 blitz, and for Miami, they're going to have a receiver run that route right there, which basically this is how they were able to beat New England all game, essentially, but especially in this final drive, was New England was running a lot of man coverage, and so in man coverage, basically what you have to do is your receivers have to be able to win their one-on-one matchup. If you can win your one-on-one matchup in man coverage, it's really tough to stop you, and that's what's going to happen on this play. I mean, watch right after the ball is snapped. There's just too much separation right there. The New England player's playing too far off, which, in fairness, he's probably thinking maybe Miami is going to try to take some deep shots here. You need a touchdown to take the lead, but there's still plenty of time left that you can still keep making these medium-range throws. And if you look at Fitzpatrick, he's not hesitating. He's already in the throwing motion, ready to get this ball out. He throws it, and it was actually kind of hard, and it almost ended up getting dropped right there, but Wilson's able to hang on, and they're able to gain some yards, and that's just really what set the tone for this drive, is being able to win your one-on-one matchups in those situations. When you can do that, it's going to be really tough to stop you, and that's basically how Miami is going to have to beat the Patriots, is by being able to beat man coverage in one-on-one matchups, because we all know that's what New England loves to do. They love to just have their good corners go on the outside and play one-on-one and say, you know what, you want to beat us, you're going to have to actually beat us. You're not going to be able to out-scheme us. But Miami kind of just said, okay, then let's do it. I mean, this one, another one, it's a 3rd down and 1. It's going to be a cover 1 hold this time, so a little bit similar, but this time with an extra New England player in coverage. And for the 2 receivers on the top half of the screen, they're going to be running those 2 routes right there, which is actually great against this coverage, because your number 2 receiver is running deep, so potentially he could get open deep, but also he's going to sort of clear out any other New England player in the area. So for the number 1 receiver who's running a curl route over the middle, this now means that this could be a one-on-one matchup very early on, and Fitzpatrick could potentially make this throw if he is open. However, something is going to go wrong here. I mean, if you look right after the ball is snapped, there's some contact right now, which is legal. It's not past 1 yard of the line of scrimmage. That's when the contact was initiated, so no penalty there or anything, but there definitely is some contact. And now for Fitzpatrick, he's kind of in a bad spot, you know? The guy who he wants to throw it to is tied up. He can't get open, and he could maybe throw it deep, but that's not going to work because New England's doing a good job of staying deep and not allowing that to happen. So really, Fitzpatrick only has one option, would be to hit that player right over there, but also, you know, there's only going to be so much time he has, and it's not going to get there very quickly. So he has to be very patient here and just sort of hope it works out. But what he's going to do is he doesn't panic. He waits for the play to play out, his receiver eventually gets open, and that's when he hits them, and they're able to get the first down. Just good patience there. I mean, a 22-year-old quarterback, I don't think makes that play unless they're a very patient guy. More often than not, a 22-year-old quarterback does not make that play. But a 37-year-old Ryan Fitzpatrick has been a veteran for a long time, and he knows sometimes it's the better move to be patient, and that's what he did there, and it really did pay off. So that's just kind of what Fitzpatrick was able to bring to the table in a lot of ways, is his veteran presence, and the fact that, I mean, in this final drive, he made some good throws, and here, we'll keep talking about it, we'll go on to the next one. This was maybe the play of the drive. This was the helmet catch, so to speak. Obviously, not that degree of difficulty, but just in terms of if you have to pick out one play, this is probably the one play I would pick out. It's once again the same coverage, and this time it's going to be that route right there that Fitzpatrick is going to want to throw to. It's a good route against this type of coverage, and unlike last time when a corner was playing very far off, this time it is press coverage, but what makes this play even more unique is the 2 guys who are going to be a part of this play. It's going to be Devontae Parker going up one-on-one against Stephon Gilmore. It's our best guy versus your best guy. Who do you think's going to win? And more often than not, over the course of the season, Gilmore had been the guy who was winning his one-on-one matchup, not just getting, incompletions and pass deflections, but getting interceptions. And a lot of players just wouldn't even try him in this situation. But you know what? Fitzpatrick is going to try him, and especially because after the ball is snapped, if you notice, as of right here, this is still just a total 50-50 ball. This could be anybody's ball on this one. Although the one thing that Parker did better than Gilmore is he got his head turned around quicker. So while Gilmore still has to sort of try to figure out where the ball is going to be, Parker knows exactly where the ball is going to be, and he can more quickly adjust his body weight to get in position to make this catch. He goes up, leaps up, and makes the grab over the guy many consider to be the best corner in the game. He beat him straight up. That's just how simple that play was. It was a gut-seek throw by Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Parker was able to make the grab and say, you know what? Yeah, we tried you, but that's why we tried you, because it's not just trying you, but it's trying me also. And Parker was able to really show up in a big way right there with that play. And it's so gutsy to do that, because Gilmore's a guy who gets so many interceptions, but Fitzpatrick said, hey, an interception is just as bad as us not getting a touchdown on this drive, so sometimes you gotta take some chances. They took a chance, and it really did pay off. Sometimes in football, that's what it comes down to, is your best player making the big play when they have to. I think about the AFC Championship game against Jacksonville. Gilmore was in a similar situation, and he was able to make the deflection that basically won the Patriots the game. Now, this one, slightly different situation because it was 2nd down and 12, but at the same time, if he makes a deflection there, it's now 3rd down and 12, and that's really difficult to convert on, even though it is 4-down territory. You're just in a tough spot if you're Miami, but because he was able to make the completion, it just made things so much easier. Although, again, worth mentioning, that was not the end of the game. They still had to get the ball in the end zone, and they would even have another 3rd down that happened. It's going to be this one. And now New England's going to do something a little bit different. It's still going to be man coverage, but what they're going to do is they're actually going to it's not exactly cover 2, it's more of like a buzz concept where they're going to have their 2 safeties still go deep, but they're not going to stay that far deep. It's essentially trying to take away basically deeper down the field so that if a Miami player does go deep, then someone can run up with them and take it away. But if someone doesn't run deep, then they can still stay over the middle. That's this type of concept. It makes sense, and it actually is going to almost fool Miami a little bit, where really the only route that could potentially get open in this situation would be that route, because there's not going to be anybody who's going to be playing in zone in that area, so it's going to be a one-on-one matchup. But of course, the downside of obviously is that the route is not going past the 1st down marker, so this is going to be a risk. Just looking at it, after the ball is snapped, you definitely notice that, yeah, okay, so he's open. This is going to be a catch, assuming you don't just make a terrible throw. But at the same time, if you don't maybe necessarily make a perfect throw where your receiver can run after the catch and turn up field and gain more yards, potentially he could get tackled and not get the 1st down. But for Fitzpatrick, his mindset is, listen, I feel confident I can make this throw, and even if I end up not making this throw, at least now it's a 4th down and 2 instead of a 4th down and 6, so it's still the correct decision. I have nothing better, so I might as well just fire it this way. That's what he does. They get the completion and get the 1st down. It really was a perfect throw, and just, again, a smart veteran decision of understanding the situation, understanding the coverage your defense is in, and making the correct throw. That's what Fitzpatrick did this entire final drive. It actually is a little bit reminiscent of Tom Brady's Super Bowl winning drive against the Rams way back in 2001. Well, I guess technically 2002 was when the game was played, if I believe correctly, but obviously much less at stake, but just in terms of he's taking what the defense gives him more so than actually trying to make these ridiculous throws. And sometimes that's just as impressive because it takes so much more patience, and sometimes you want to just win the game on one play, but you can't do that if the defense isn't allowing that to happen. The defense wasn't going to allow them to get beat on one play, so he had to have a methodical drive, and that's exactly what Fitzpatrick was able to pull off. It honestly makes some sense from New England, saying, what are the chances of Ryan Fitzpatrick, being able to have a methodical drive? This guy seems to throw an interception every 5 passes, but you know what? Fitzpatrick showed up when he had to, and really, it was such an impressive drive, and let's just get into what capped it off, the touchdown play. So first things first, you're going to notice that Miami has a player in motion, and since there is a New England player who is following him, this gives Miami a good idea that it's going to be man coverage. So now they know that, okay, probably man coverage, try to find a way to beat man coverage. And it is going to be man coverage, as you see, but what's unique is what kind of coverage it is, because they played man coverage essentially this entire drive, but they've changed exactly what coverage it is. This time it's going to be that. So the two safeties are taking away sort of the corners of the end zone, meaning the middle of the end zone actually could get open. And Fitzpatrick, knowing this, knows he has a tight end running right over the middle, and this is a route that he likes. I mean, it's his big tight end going over the middle. It's going to be a size advantage, and it's going to be a one-on-one matchup. So in this situation, you honestly can't ask for much better than that. That is going to be Fitzpatrick's first read on display before the ball is snapped. And for a good reason. He does get open, Fitzpatrick makes a good throw, and the rest is history. Miami, with 24 seconds left, was able to take the lead. And, I mean, that was the game. You know, New England did not have enough time left to get down the field and kick a field goal. It would have taken a perfect drive, and they didn't get it. So that really was the game. I mean, that's the difference right now in the Patriots being the number 2 seed, not even having to play next week, and having an extra week to game plan against probably the Chiefs. Now, assuming they still find a way to beat the 6th seed and, you know, go to Kansas City, now you have an extra week of wear and tear on your body. You didn't have as much time to game plan against Kansas City. And on top of all of that, you're now going to Kansas City instead of playing in Foxborough. So there's a ton of disadvantages you have now where they were in a great situation, and Miami really went there and really just said, you know what, we're not going to let you just boss us around the way you have in the past. We're going to make sure that we don't let that happen. You can dread it, you can run from it, but Fitzmagic always arrives, and he was able to arrive in a big way for Miami. I mean, for Miami, this has to feel like an awesome win. You know, at a certain point, you guys were 0-7, and now, largely thanks to Fitzpatrick, they were able to end up actually having a winning record in the last 9 games of the season. I mean, that's just awesome. I mean, you have to be so happy if you're a Miami fan for the future. You know, have 3 first-round picks, and you got to screw over the Patriots, which probably was the best thing to happen this season. So, really, I think, honestly, if you're a Miami fan, the season probably has gone as well as you could have hoped. And for a Patriots fan, you know, the one bright side I'll say is you actually have a better record this year than you did last year, even though you don't have the bye. So, you're not dead yet, but definitely a massive setback, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens the rest of the way.